you guys are playing Oklahoma City 5 times in like a month and a half span. What being the number 2 seed in the West now, which is kind of I mentioned that to Julian yesterday. He didn't even realize it, but where is this team mentally as it goes into the closing in on the second half of the season, where there are legitimate stakes here on the line?
I think it's a great opportunity for us, honestly. I think to obviously OKC is a good team that have had an unbelievable last couple of years, and I think for us as we continue to just build and grow what we're trying to do here, I think it's a great way to keep us sharp. So I think like obviously playing them today, playing them in a couple of days, playing them again after playing them in the cup, right? Like just getting that familiarity of playing at that level, that high level, I think is only beneficial for us.
Is there a challenge with playing the same team so much in such a condensed span of time?
Yeah, I mean I think it allows you to see what your will is, right? I think the details start to become known on both sides. Like obviously, we just played Washington, twice in the last however many days, right? And I think when you start doing that, it kind of gives you not necessarily a playoff series type of vibe, but you start to become very familiar with your opponent, how they play, they know how we play, and it just becomes of who just wants it more.
Can the coaches almost approach it with a semi-playoff vibe where they're making adjustments game to game where they might not have as two different opponents?
Absolutely, but I think at the same time, I think where you want to go, hopefully in the postseason, we know that we're on a collision course with this team, right? I think that's been this season, so I think that it's good for us to continue to get these opportunities to have this type of preparation.
I mean, the league is billing this as a rivalry. Do you see it that way? Is rivalry a concept as a player that does anything for you, or is it just this is a good team you play with?
No, I mean I think obviously they won a championship last year. Both teams have young nucleuses that want to win and want to play at a high level, both in the West. So I think in order to achieve the ultimate goal, which is to hang another banner, I think that we're both pursuing the same thing. So, yeah, I mean, I think you can see that.
Have you been a part of a rivalry at some point in your career that was like a thing that your team focused on, fixated on, or it felt like it was a part of your team's path to trying to get to that point?
I mean, obviously, in Golden State, the Clippers, that was definitely competition. The Rockets, were competition. But I think rivalries are good. They're healthy. I think there's just, like I said, when both two teams have two high aspirations of where they want to go and what they want to do, and obviously, I think the age factor too, right? Outside of myself, most of these guys are all on the same age, so I think there's just familiarity, built within them, whether it's playing in high school or college or just different things like that.
And how do those games feel different than the rest of the games?
I think it's the familiarity. We've obviously played OKC a lot in the past years, but like I said, guys have played against each other in high school. It's that competition, and it's like I said, both teams wanting more.
One of these games against OKC is on Christmas. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys still look at that as an honor to be asked to play on Christmas Day?
Absolutely. I think we all had not the greatest experience losing in the Garden last year on Christmas Day, so that was unfortunate. But I think any time as a basketball player to be able to play on Christmas Day is special. I mean, growing up as a kid watching those games on TV, especially for someone like myself who didn't have cable, right? Like that was a great opportunity. So I think it's just an honor and a privilege to be able to do that.
From the human side of it, is it a distraction during the holidays, or is it the other thing where you're able to block out the distractions of the holidays because you have like a game to play? You don't have to worry about what the family's doing so much. You have your thing.
Well, it's a little bit of both, right? I think if you don't play on Christmas, you usually play the day after. So sometimes that's tough because you're traveling, midday, and then when you do play on Christmas, it's like, well, the focus is there, so then you get to spend Christmas with your family afterwards. So it's a balance, but I think we're in a extremely privileged position to be able to do this on a special day, to do this with our families around or watching or seeing them before or after. So it's an honor.
Something you mentioned when you first got here was that you kind of took building habits and professionalism, something you could pass on to these guys, and obviously you saw what that looked like last year, struggles and injuries and all that. You guys are still growing, obviously, but to have the success you found this season, how have you seen that effort kind of evolve?
I mean, I think it's really just a matter of guys taking that challenge this summer, just in terms of how do we come back better? How do we improve on the things that we can control? And I think you're starting to see that in terms of wins, but I think you just see it in terms of the daily habits, right? In terms of how guys are preparing. Obviously, a huge credit goes to the coaching staff just in terms of our preparation for games. I mean, I would be surprised if many teams as a collective watch more tape than we do. So I think those habits are really starting to come through in terms of how we're playing and how guys are growing and their progressions on the floor.
Speaking of those young guys and learning that preparation, those preparation habits, I guess, is it surprising to you at all? I know y'all are all competitive, but is it surprising to y'all at all to be the number 2 seed with all these important pieces being so young? I mean, to be this high up in the standings at this point in the season, is it a surprise at all?
I don't think we necessarily look at it as are we overachieving or underachieving. I think it's more so our process, right? Like we look at some of these games and we say, okay, in our losses, how could we have been better? Did we play our style of basketball? How do we let this game get away from us, right? In the 7 losses that we've had. And so I think for us, it's a matter of can we just continue to focus on that, right? The standings are so close. You win 2 games, you lose 2 games, you fluctuate in that. So I don't think as a team we really focus too much on that, but I think it's more of night in, night out, can we play to a level where at the end of the game, regardless of the result, we say we did what we were supposed to do? Or did we say, hey, we didn't play our style of basketball, but we won, or we didn't play our style of basketball and we lost?
All right, we're good. Thank you, man.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate it, sir.